Welcome to the Nerd Party.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Second Contact, a Star Trek Lower Decks commentary podcast. My name is Charlene Schmidt, and with me, as he always is
Tristan Riddell.
Hello, Tristan. We are here for the penultimate episode of Season 4, and it ends on a cliffhanger. Those three dirty words. How dare they? Oh, is it next Thursday yet?
It's going to be interesting because, like you talked about last week, McMahon said, "Oh, the last two episodes are going to be really active and really, bulked up in comparison to previous episodes." And episode 8 definitely felt like a kind of a wrap up for some character stories and some journeys and things like that for them. Not wrap up isn't the right word, but for everybody to get together one last time before we go into the craziness that is the last two episodes.
Yes, that. It was the calm before the storm, and we knew it. And now we're going to walk right into the hurricane. What we're going to do is you can watch along with us if you want. You can sync up, and we have a blank screen at about 23 seconds right after the CBS Studios logo thing. You can watch with us, but if you're driving around or just doing whatever, you're not near the TV, if you've seen the episode already, hopefully our commentary is enough to keep it entertaining and interesting and make you remember in your head what was happening at the episode at the time. So, are you ready?
I am ready.
Okay, let's do this. We'll count down 3, 2, 1, go, and off we go. 3, 2, 1, go. Now, you know what I just realized?
What?
Last episode was called Caves, and we start this episode from the perspective of a cave.
I was really thinking that we were going to get some references to the previous, cave episode. Even later on, like when Mariner and the Klingon are together and they're in like this little cave-like area. And of course, they become friends, because that's what you do in a cave.
Yeah, but alas, no, we're on a very different kind of mission here. What was your reaction to, I kind of saw it as Mariner's very, very, very bold attitude change here. Like, we've seen her in this mode before, but it went from feel good last week to, I want to save the day, I want to put my life on the line, blah, 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 blah.
Well, I was scared that what they were going to do is, I guess I was worried that they were going to go lean too hard into the whole, I don't want to get promoted, I want to get demoted, and I'm afraid of success type deal. And it is linked to that, and I have said this before, and I'm afraid to say it again, but it feels like we got some closure on that aspect of her personality.
Maybe more than we've ever gotten, but I've got more to say on that later.
Yeah. Once we get to it, we'll talk more about it. But like, I thought it was going to be linked to that, but thankfully it was, but not in an obnoxious way. It was kind of like in a B'Elanna way, but not as intense.
Dude, I'm so glad you brought up B'Elanna because I was having huge extreme risk episode vibes from this whole thing. Yeah. I don't know. Here's the thing with Mariner is this kind of behavior. It's not like it came out of nowhere, but it's just such a huge gear shift from where we were last week that it does feel like a little bit out of the blue. Like, it's extreme. It's reached a new height.
Yeah, it is a little bit out of the blue, but unfortunately for a lot of shows like this, especially like 30-minute sitcoms, especially animated sitcoms, so much does come out of the blue where it's just like, oh, well, this kind of happened off screen. Like this happened in between episodes.
This is true, lest we forget. We've got to basically we have to make that leap as the audience. This is where they're at right now. And then we connect the dots.
Right, exactly. And this was one of those things where at least she was helping people. She was being extreme and she was running around, but at least she wasn't derelict in her duty. She's not going to get thrown into the brig for what she's doing. She's just taking too many risks of her own personal safety.
Right. And she's not just trying to start a bar fight for the sake of a bar fight, which we have seen this season.
Like 2 episodes ago, yeah.
Right? It wasn't even that long ago.
Yeah, it was on Ferenginar.
Right. Yeah. It was
This is
nice
called
to see.
the inner fight as opposed to the inner light.
Yeah, I love the spin on that title. How about you?
I thought, yeah.
It's
It's very Lower
cute.
Decks.
This has absolutely nothing to do with that episode of TNG, and nevertheless, it's so very perfect.
Oh yeah, TV shows love their puns in their titles.
Especially this show. They do a good job.
I
It
do
is
like
nice to
that
see
Mariner.
Freeman. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. No, we're probably about to say the same thing, but like I really liked seeing Mariner's mom, the captain, come in and say like and bring her closest friends in and her colleagues and say like what's going on.
Yes. Yes, it's finally we are addressing this for real. People have noticed how bad this has gotten and how long has this been going on? It's years. But they're finally addressing it now.
It was really cool to get like a list of those names, like 7 of 9, Beverly Crusher, Thomas Riker, Nick
Right?
Locarno. And like I love how like when they said Nick Locarno and Tendy's like, who? Like that's the only one that they don't know about.
Like, oh no, she's not in on the joke.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, does this episode potentially ruin the whole headcanon most of us have had for years? You know, the whole Nick Locarno, Tom Paris thing?
Well, I don't think that there's any headcanon that they're the same person.
Oh, but there is. Like, Nick Locarno is really, or Tom Paris is really supposed to be Nick Locarno because Robert Duncan McNeil played them both. They have the similar backstory. They just couldn't use the name because every time you do that, you got to pay the writer of the first duty.
Well, yes, I know that that's like the behind the scenes reason, but did anyone actually think that they were the same physical character or just a spin-off of the character because of X, Y, and Z?
Okay, maybe not like, yeah, not that. Not that.
Yeah, because I never thought that they were the same person who existed in the universe. I thought it was like, we all think that that's the reason that they didn't want to pay the writers because of X, Y, and Z or whatever. Like Nick Locarno and Tom Paris are basically the same character, but yet they are different because they exist in Star Trek under different names.
Yeah. Well, it didn't help that Admiral Owen Paris had a photo of Nick Locarno on his desk, and it's supposed to be Tom at the Academy. So even the show itself is blurring these lines a little bit. And I've read more than one fanfic where Nick Locarno tries to reform himself. He changes his name and becomes Tom Paris, tries to be a new person. You know, that's where it's all coming from.
But then that's all washed away by Owen Paris because it's not Owen Locarno.
True.
And he's
Don't
a well-known
ruin this
admiral.
fantasy, man.
Well,
Stop
I think
using your logic.
for all of that, then the Lower Decks puts that to bed. That they are not there. There was no name change. They're two separate people who just happen to have very similar backstories.
Right? Yeah. No. It definitely is setting this record in canon. There's no wiggle room
And I do like
anymore.
at the end of the episode when we actually see Nick Locarno, it's voiced by Robert Duncan McNeil.
Yes!
That's so great.
Loved it. I love that they got him to come back. Number
Mhm.
one, but now part two, I presume, is going to be heavy on Nick Locarno, and we can get to know this character a whole lot better.
Yeah, absolutely. Like anytime you can give me more Robert Duncan McNeil, I'm on board.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's always fun. Every season of Lower Decks, we know we're going to get a kind of like a cameos from various Trek alumni, and it's just a matter of who and what character they're playing. And so it's just like, okay, what's in the grab bag for this season? Oh, it's Robert Duncan McNeil. Hey, again, cool. Not a disappointment ever.
I love the continuing reminder that birds of prey are actually quite small. Like they can only house about like 15 warriors, something like that. And like when they're when you compare them next to a shuttle, I mean, it's not that much bigger. I mean, it's obviously bigger, but it's not that much bigger. And it reminds you like, oh yeah, like in Star Trek 4, The Voyage Home, like they landed in a park. You know, like they landed a bird of prey in a park.
Right. Yeah, you could not do that with the Enterprise D. Really,
No.
probably any Enterprise.
But of course, a bird of prey took down the Enterprise D because of X, Y, and Z. Blah, 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 blah.
Right. Yada, yada, yada. Shield frequency, blah, blah, blah. Hacking into Geordi's visor. Meow. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like we could. I love Generations, but we could have done that differently.
That was kind of a weak plot point, though. Like, they
Yeah.
tried, it just, I don't know. There's better parts of that movie.
Indeed. So we didn't get much of Boimler in this. We got a little bit. But it
Again,
was...
he's definitely a secondary character here. And I have a question. I don't know if he has a scream in this episode. Is this the first episode of Lower Decks where Boimler does not genuinely scream?
Oh, surely we've gone episodes where he doesn't scream.
I don't know, man. It's been a very consistent thing. But here, I think all he kind of gets is like a little bit of a yelp, which I don't think counts. And my theory has always been it's not actually an episode of Lower Decks until Boims screams. It's a thing.
So the people here on the planet are not the Lower Deckers.
No.
So the lower, like, this kind of confused me a little bit. So the Lower Deckers were the ones who took over the ships and left the senior crew on the planet.
Right. The senior crews are all deserted. This is where everybody was taken from what I thought was the whole V'ger thing. Turns out, nope, that was not it.
It's Nick Locarno
Tear down
ship.
that theory.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had no idea Nick Locarno was coming. Holy crap, that was great.
Well, I really don't think anybody had that on their bingo card. Like, I don't think anybody really could see that coming. And if you did see that coming, you were lying, because they really did not tip their hat to it whatsoever.
They really didn't. It was nice and mysterious, and it did take all of us by surprise. I think Mike McMahon said not too long ago that one person guessed it on the whole internet, and it was probably just some random guess to throw out there, and I have no idea who it was.
Hey, well, then I take everything I just said back. There was one person out there who guessed it.
That one person on the internet is like, I was right.
So, I mean, obviously, like, when we saw Nick Locarno's name at the beginning of this, you're like, oh, okay. Well, he's probably flying the shuttle, or like he made the shuttle because he's a pilot. I'm just saying you didn't guess it before this episode.
Oh, no. Heck no.
Yeah.
No.
Except for that one guy, unless you were that one guy.
Now, did you have any idea that Billups was the decoy, this weird alien guy who can just skirt on by the bouncer?
No, not at all. I thought it was Nick playing his own bounty hunter. Like, I thought like he was playing his own bounty hunter, looking out for himself, like trying to get the information so that no one really knew where he was.
That's
what I thought it was
interesting
at first.
idea. I didn't think of that. I was suspicious, though, just because, am I supposed to understand the reference of what this guy looks like? I was trying to figure that out so hard that every other thought just went by the wayside. We haven't mentioned yet that T'Lyn is back this week.
That's right. I sent you a message the other day where someone was saying, like, whenever T'Lyn is not on screen, the other characters should be asking, "Where's T'Lyn?" And then someone responded underneath, the reason they aren't asking is because she's holding the camera. And that just makes me laugh, because like that kind of thought process just really makes it's so absurd that I giggle about it.
It's so absurd that it works, and that is the explanation that makes sense in my head. So instead of a cave, we're in a tree. A big
This
tree.
gave me real Jurassic Park vibes with this angle and the overlook of the tree, like when the Brontosaurus
I wonder if
comes and
that's
scares the children.
intentional.
Yeah. Yeah, this, like, again, like we see Mariner, this is where she's kind of verging on getting other people in danger, because like they emphasized earlier on, like, she's putting herself in danger. They keep saying that, like, she's not being a jerk because she's only putting herself in danger. But here she was about to lead everybody into some combat, and thankfully the three of them were able to talk some temporary sense into her.
Just a little bit. The awkward silence when they decide we're just going to let it be tonight and we're going to fall asleep. It's like, oh, we're not going to follow up on that. We're actually going to go to sleep.
We're actually going to go to sleep. This coming up is my favorite moment. Like, teach me how to tap dance, Beverly Crusher.
We know that Boimler dreams about Beverly Crusher.
I
not
love
surprised.
it so much. Yeah, I mean, who doesn't?
Right. It is cool that we see this Klingon again. Because he's been in previous episodes. This is a follow-up.
I thought this was just the. Where else has we seen him in?
Oh, golly. I can't remember the episode names now because we're recording, of course, but...
Well, this isn't the...
Go
this
to Memory
isn't the
Alpha.
episode. Well, no, like, I thought that this was the guy this was just the guy on the ship. Like, this isn't the guy she met in Envoy. Or, like, was friends with in Envoy.
No, but we've seen him before.
Oh, I really don't remember that. Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if he was one of the lower deckers in Wage Douche, but he's been in something before, too. I read it yesterday, and for the life of me, I can't remember what the review said.
This is one of those times when we got to have the listeners.
Yeah, chime
reach
in and
out to
tell
us on
us,
Twitter.
because your memories are way better than mine.
Stupid knife rain. That is terrifying. I don't understand how anything can survive.
Ouch.
Like, even vegetation. Like, how does even vegetation survive with knife rain?
Seriously. Yeah, how do you combat that when everything is just coming out to slice you? Ow. All right, we're getting to the big moment of truth here, where it's a Klingon
This was a
of
huge
all
reveal.
people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he said some really, like, he dropped some wisdom. I was really surprised because they didn't make it schmaltzy. They didn't make it over emotional. Like, he didn't break character. He was still Klingon about everything that he said, but everything that he said made sense.
Yeah. This dude needs to become a therapist. I don't know how much honor there is in that, but he's really good at this job. Like, he broke right through to Mariner. That's amazing. And you have to consider...
You must attack your negative self-image.
Right? Like, imagine that as a motivational poster.
Yeah. Disembowel your anxiety.
I would love a poster that says that.
I do like that she opens up because she really does think that one of them is going to be dead soon, because that's the only way that she would
It's the only
open
reason.
Up. Yeah.
Right. And yet, nevertheless, here we go. The end of, or TNG season 7, toward the end, is the time, like just before maybe. No. We got to go back to season 5. Take that back for the first duty, because presumably Mariner was at the academy with Cedo. Yes,
and she does say that Cedo is ahead of her. Like, she said she graduated ahead of me. So we don't know if she was a freshman when she was a senior, or a sophomore or a junior. We have no idea. I actually saw some people try to do the math, and this would put Mariner around her early 30s.
Okay, so we're actually getting a little bit of definition to this question we've had this whole show. So that's great. And my point is with this is she's been carrying this for years. And once again, I have to say, what is with the lack of therapy in the future? But I also have to remember, not everybody is willing to open up. A lot of people will hold their innermost thoughts and turmoil really close to the chest. They're very closely guarded, might not even be fully aware of how things manifest inside them.
I mean, that's the thing. It's just like, even if you have therapy available, you can't force somebody to go to therapy.
That too. It's just, it seems like this has been a very long time coming for her. We have been complaining in season 4, like, Mariner, get your crap together. But then now she comes out with this, and the sympathy comes back. Like, oh my gosh, you've been dealing with this the whole time? Jeez, no wonder.
I really like her monologue here about what Starfleet is supposed to represent and what Starfleet's supposed to be, because there's so many times that we've gotten this in other shows, and it sounds really preachy and off-putting and really kind of too sweet. You know what I'm saying? Too sugary.
Yeah. Pollyanna-ish.
Like, this is really on the nose. But Mariner, the way that she says it, she's like, I don't want to be a general. I don't want to send my friends to die. That felt so real and so honest and earnest that I think this is the best, quote, "We are Starfleet" speech out of all of New Trek. I really do believe that. I think this really encapsulates I'm not saying that right, but like what Starfleet is supposed to be about.
Right.
And
yes. We constantly have this discussion about what Starfleet is, what it does. Are they scientists? Is it a military? That sort of a thing. How many people are like Mariner who just want to explore space and have a good time, and then they find themselves in the line of fire and lose their friends? Like, it feels so raw and so honest. I love it too.
And we see you like with the Dominion War. I love that she mentions the Dominion War.
Right? Probably some PTSD there.
Yeah, we see Sisko, who is a brilliant general, probably the best Starfleet general that we've ever seen when it comes to wartime. But that doesn't mean he likes it. It doesn't mean he wants to be a general.
Right.
And we saw that many times.
Yeah, I can't imagine a whole lot of people in Starfleet actually liking war. You just get roped into it when the circumstances make it necessary.
And I love this TOS reference. Seeing this
right?
And then we find out that it's just a miniature person.
Right. I love the little chair. I love that chair, man. It's very cute.
It's so regal.
Yes. And I love that we get Rutherford's X-ray vision. Mm-hmm. Have we seen that before? Did we know he could do that?
Yes. Yes, okay. we have seen that before. Like, he used it at least one time before in the mess hall.
Okay. It was a cool use of his eyepiece. Nevertheless,
I do love the constant berating of Starfleet because the one thing that Lower Decks is really great about is knocking Starfleet down a peg without completely nullifying its existence. Like, they're not saying Starfleet shouldn't exist. They're not saying Starfleet is, is homogenous. It's maybe it's a little pompous.
Sure. Yeah, I love the whole calling out of the entitlement that maybe, I guess it is a little bit of a thing where you're wearing the Starfleet officer. You're there to save the day and help and be the hero, and not everybody wants you around. It is nice they call that out. And Mariner's also, just a moment in her moment of truth scene, she's, I have the right to call out BS where I see it. Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's exactly what I'm talking about, is that kind of stuff is like, she's able to complain about this. She's able to do this because that's not what Starfleet is supposed to be about. But Starfleet is there when it happens.
Yep.
I also like that they didn't make Freeman an idiot in this.
Yes.
Like, she actually had a plan.
She really did. And it was clever because it fooled us into thinking she's the fool, maybe once again. And yet, no, she had this the whole time. It was nice to see. I don't want her to be an idiot just because she's not the captain of the Enterprise, you know?
Right. I do love that when Tindy comes out, like, she saves the day, and it's not a Deus Ex Machina. Like, we introduced this episodes ago.
We sure did, and it's a nice callback to that adventure. And if she had not been here, then what?
Yeah, it also would have been frustrating if this was the first time we saw it. We were like, oh wait, Tindy's,
it would
pseudo royalty.
It wouldn't have hit the same way. Then it would have felt a bit more like a Deus Ex Machina. Like, what? Did we miss something here? But no, the instant Tendi arrives, we know why this lady stops in her tracks.
So, oh my God, this is so Star Trek and so TV in general. But like, we saw Mariner's back, and she had 3 holes in her shirt from the knife rain, from the ice or crystals or whatever. But there was no wounds. No wounds, just tore a shirt.
I mean, she got stabbed with a knife how many times when they were on Orion?
I think it was at least 3.
Man, it's a good thing the dermal regenerator can do things about scars. Otherwise, she would just be all over.
Yeah, I mean, she must be hiding a dermal regenerator in her uniform. Oh, in the pockets that Rutherford just discovered. That's great.
Again, you're just discovering this now. Thank goodness the uniforms have pockets, so everything needs to have pockets.
In the future, that's not a problem that women will have to deal with.
Thank God. Women's fashion is the worst. They give us stupid little pockets that aren't actually pockets. You can't put anything in them. Fashion can screw off.
I thought this was going to be like, if when the bounty hunter started coming towards them, I was like, oh, okay, so it's not Nick Locarno, it's a member of Starfleet. I thought it was going to be Ransom. Like, that's who I thought it was going to be.
Oh, yeah, that would have made sense.
But then
For
I was like,
whatever
oh,
reason,
wait, no,
though?
if the captain's on the planet, then Ransom would be running the ship.
Why Billups? Why did
'Cause
he
it's
get
funny.
picked for this role? Well, I mean, it is funny. That is it. Yeah. It's not as funny if Ransom did it, because you know what he would be doing? He'd be like showing off and doing push-ups. We'd know it was him.
He'd be shredding his stuff, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So on this bird of prey, we see a symbol that is also on Nick Locarno's jacket.
Yes.
And
Yes.
Our good friend Jim Morehouse noted that it's the same kind of, the symbol is very similar, if not an exact duplication, of the Starburst maneuver that got Nick Locarno kicked out of Starfleet.
Yeah, I think we're supposed to take note of that, and that is definitely the thing.
So Nick Locarno is definitely in league with these people, but we don't know why or how.
Right. We don't get to know that till next week.
And so we got our team who gets to commandeer a bird of prey just like the original crew.
Yep. I love that so much. I also loved just sort of like the extreme close-ups on the bird of prey in this episode. Did you notice that?
I did notice that. You got to see a lot of detail.
Yeah, like the bird of prey is just like really all up in this planet, sort of like when in Star Trek 4 the bird of prey goes after the whaling ship. It's like it's hovering right above you.
This hit like Nick Locarno's ship, like where she woke up and there's like a desk and everything like that.
Mhm.
I could be completely wrong, but this looks kind of similar to the opening of the 31st Century, where we see that guy who's stationed at a Starfleet outpost, and he's the only person. Like, he gets up and brushes his teeth and has like an alarm clock and everything like that. I'm sure I'm way off base, but it just, the minimalist style of just a bed and a desk made me think of that.
What in the minimalist hell is it?
What in the minimalist hell?
Loved that line. And then those 3 words came up, and this episode is over, and we have to wait till next week to find out what happens, and it's going to be a long few days.
I really wish we could get, because we know that Majel Barrett did some voiceover for future reference, like so that her voice could be used in the future. I really wish that we could get Majel's voice, with everybody's permission, because she gave permission, saying,
Of course.
previously on Star Trek Lower Decks.
Right. And now for the conclusion.
And now the conclusion. Yeah, oh my gosh. I
With
love her voice.
Could they please talk maybe to Rod Roddenberry and allow that to happen and make some negotiate, give him a lot of money to, so the Roddenberry estate, just make it happen.
Yeah, donate to charity in her name, and the only reason why I bring it up, because I know this is a big deal right now with the Screen Actors Guild, is that she did record stuff in the future for this exact reason. That's all I'm saying.
It's true. It's true. She really did. And thank goodness. And I do hope someday somebody puts it to good, constructive use, not for evil.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm looking at you, AI apps.
Well, that's our show, everyone. Thank you so much for listening. If you'd like to listen to other Nerd Party content or previous episodes from us, go to thenerdparty.com. You can find selections from all sorts of different types of fandom, from Harry Potter to Star Trek to Star Wars to books to movies to indie movies, blockbusters, everything you could possibly want at thenerdparty.com. Find us on social media. On Instagram and Facebook, just search The Nerd Party. On Twitter, we're Join Nerd Party. And you can find us personally. I'm at The Insane Robin, and Shar.
You can find me at Oh the Profanity.
So please tune in next week as we finish out this season strong with Star Trek Lower Decks.
Join the revolution. Join the Nerd Party.